Uh, Dear viewers, you most welcome to the show today, and this is the table one. My name is Samuel Vatamila as usual. I'm lucky again, once again, to host Mr. Mugabe Ared. We nickname him Ared, but that is not his name. He's called Johnny Mugabe. He's the director, CEO, Ared Foundation Uganda. Um, a couple of weeks ago, we were able to discuss something very special in this community, and that is about the issues of land and the children within this particular community. We had the challenge of the LOC conniving with some other individuals and over someone's land. And the most affected people were the children of the red, I mean the grandchildren of the red. So that's what we're going to discuss about today. We had this discussion, a prior discussion with Mr. Mugabe about the same issue. He was a person behind giving legal services and legal assistance to this family. So, Mr. Mugabe, you're most welcome once again.
Thank you very much, our host, right, and everyone. I'm so grateful to be again here. Partly, we are celebrating a landmark case where justice was given to the vulnerable people, the orphans, and also as a village and a country, we are seeing rule of law defeating expropriation, defeating conspiracy, and defeating land grabbing. I'm so happy to be here once again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mugabe. It's been a success. Actually, this is one of the success you scored this year. How did you feel after the LC to saying that the owners of the properties should regain them? What happened after?
Uh, I got a lot of joy, but I also like to say that I was so emotional because this is one of the few events where I saw the orphans shedding tears, but tears of joy. And I also saw the whole community celebrating, jumping, uh, calling everyone to eat and drink because the village had a ray of hope. The village had seen that it is possible once in our village to counter using the rule of law the anomalies, the conspiracy, the strategy of expropriation of land and property with the authority being behind, and then you defeat it. It's not a mere success, but it is a success which in my lifetime I will live to talk about, and it has inspired me. Our small work we do as an organization has been inspired, and we have now believed that there is a lot of a lot of things which we can be proud of, but one is the yesterday landmark event of the court deciding after 2 months of expediting and investigating the facts, asking the witness, and also finding out about the land grabbing which was taken uh, with energy and authority of the local village council. So we are grateful, and everyone, including you, should celebrate this. Entebbe has to celebrate this because we have a saying that now the poor person and the vulnerable person has no say in the courts. And we know that the rule, we've been having some semantics and also some talks that law is not for the poor. But yesterday, our constitution was upheld high and the rule of law spoke, and we are so much grateful. That is a success worth the celebration. That is a success worth the talking about by everyone, every citizen of Entebbe and Uganda, because the rule of law is very key in creating an harmonious society. We solved yesterday the issue of getting pangas and cutting each other. We prevented death, and we have also seen that when society voluntarily come together, it can overcome all the barriers. And that's what we must do. The society must be inspired to stand for what is right, to promote the rule of law. And also, I would like to applaud our leaders, the local council leaders. They were very much present at the beginning up to the end, and also the LC2 court for taking a stand. Intimidation. I would like to say this. The chairman was very much intimidated, even to the extent of killing him, attacking his family, attacking his dignity, but he stood. And let us not fear. Even today, there is some threats, but let us stand strong because the law must be enforced by the will of the people and people having faith in it.
Okay, that's very good, Mr. Mugabe. Thank you so much for the good work done so far. How then we need to know much more about this case. Did the LOC to exercise their duty right? Now, what is going to happen at the end of the day when those people who came and bought that particular pieces of land, what are they going to do at the end of the day?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to tell you that we've been discussing this case of the Baluku orphans, but we know very well that this case had a lot of snapshots within it, and it also had a lot of interest and feelings. I will tell you that when the Balukus, who are the grandparents of these orphans we are having today, died, they left the property in the hands of the kids or the orphans. But then the will and also what I would call the letters of administration given to them were not given to anyone. And the village decided to work with the village council, let me call them the village council, working with the relatives, made a move to sell one of the property, the two rentals which were feeding these kids. And they brought an issue of a funeral right as a justification, and they said it would be better to give a funeral right, but the kids should live because even after all, they are not children of the blood or belonging to the blood because they are being produced, or they are children of the daughter of Baluku. So that was also another twist in this case. But overall, the property ownership and the right to pass your property to someone stood. Because even if you are not my daughter, even if you are not my son, I have the right to give you any asset I want. If I feel like you are valuable to me, or I would wish to do that. So yesterday, that component of the rule of law, the ownership, the right to ownership, and the right to transfer the property, and the right to succession, the succession right was up held high, and then it was also guarded, and also we realized that there is a custodian, the courts, who are the custodian of all these rights, were able to take a stand with thorough investigation and in the unbiased way. So at the end of the day, justice arrived in our village.
That's very good, Mr. Mugabe. There are two things right now here. The first one is the case is now done.
Yeah.
And now the children, I mean the grandchildren, are supposed to regain their property back.
Yeah.
What is going to be done again? Is this LOC's responsibility or the higher court? I mean, beyond which are beyond the LOC one?
Yeah. Thank you very much. The LOC2 court is put in place by the Act, the 2006 Act of the Local Council Courts, which gives the local council two of the parish, that is the parish, to institute a court comprising of members. There must be a member with a legal knowledge, and they must also be leaders of reputation in the community and senior leaders. So what that court does is calls the people, or people, if you have issues concerning let me say, anywhere where you've been suffocated and also stepped on, your property has been taken. It has a right, or you have a right to take it to that first court or to the LOC2 court, and then they settle your dispute. But one component they have, it's like an arbiter. They have a component of arbitration that before anyone considers the magistrate or the judicial court, he must look at this first step as a way of solving conflict. And then yesterday they decided and they found out that the property has to belong, or it was belonging to the orphan, and they gave it to the orphan with the evidence and the power of the document and the will which the late Baluku had left for this. But then what this court has to do, the people who have lost this case, they have a right to appeal.
That was my point.
Yeah.
They have right to appeal somewhere.
They have the right to appeal to the LOC2 court, because the LOC2 court, LOC3 court is higher court to, it's superior to the LOC2 court. The LOC2 court is a subordinate. It's like when you take the magistrate court a case and then you are not satisfied with the way how it has been ruled, you're free to appeal to the higher court. So now in this case, the higher court is LOC3. But then it is it is at the disposal of the people who have lost the case to appeal within 14 days. The law allows a space of 14 days for someone to appeal and then to say, I don't agree, or I feel not satisfied with this. But if they go beyond, if they don't do that appeal in the 14 days, then the decision taken by the LOC2 court is sanctioned by the magistrate court. What the LOC2 court chairman has to do is now to take that decision to the magistrate of that court of Entebbe and then sanction it. But then also the magistrate has to realize that within the 14 days, there was no one who was appealing. Then sanctions it after going through. And then it becomes binding. But now, from yesterday, where the court ruled, the court decision stands until when someone petitions or appeal. So right now, the property belongs to the kids or to the orphan. And that's why that ruling was made with some enforcement that the people who had encroached, the people who had expropriated the houses have to leave the children with their property. But now we have a person who bought that property.
That's my question again.
Yeah, now
what's going to be done?
Now, the person who bought this land, what I could say, he bought this land, I would use the word unconsciously, but it was a kind of a fake, there was some kind of what I would call some kind of taking advantage on him. There was someone who plotted this and said there is a willing buyer in the community. But the willing buyer was ignorant of how binding transaction on land should be done. Because it did not.
Did he or she contact anyone more spear than him or her to advise him on her or him or her on how to to deal with land matters, especially
For him, he thought that once you have the LOC1 behind,
yes,
or witnessing this, then you are done. That transaction stands. And we've got many cases in this village.
But still, there are two things now here.
Yeah.
There's the LC1 and the family members. Was this person wrong or right to buy this kind of land? If you look at, if there are two people, there are two parties, the family, the relatives of the late, the family members, and the LOC, coming to a such a transaction. Even if it was me or you, actually, I would take that opportunity to say, yes, this is something that is very right.
Yeah, we have in law where they say ignorance is not a defense. It's very true. Some of the relatives of the late Baluku had interest to take advantage, to get money out of the property left for these kids. And in their assumption, they thought that these kids could easily be displaced and go and find their way of living. They thought it easily. Because they thought there is no institution
that can really come in for them,
which can come in and stand
intervene
for justice of these kids. And they also thought that these kids are too vulnerable and poor and young to start the process of looking for justice to defend their property in terms of ownership. So they managed to go to the local council one, LOC one, headed by Chairman Ezekiel Paul, and told him that we want to make or we want to organize a funeral rite. But what we have to do, we don't have money. We have to sell one property there. And then the money will help in facilitating the funeral rite. But then, as you know very well, that this is not a mere precedent. We've got very many events and we have experience that our LOC1 uh, is very, very fast in supporting even looking for the buyer because there is a benefit they do get. And I speak with evidence because when this student petition or came to our office seeking for the service, we had to first call the chairperson. And we went to the chairperson, Ezekiel, who called his committee and told us that they sold this land. Okay, they never sold, but the relatives sold this land with the signatures of the local council.
With the consent.
With the consent,
Of the
because the
local
consent, because the local council one believed that they have a right to do so because they had some powers of attorney given them back when the late were still living. So they did that. But then the owner was also very fast. What we are asking ourselves also, because the owner who has not brought himself out up to now, the person who bought
Is nowhere to be seen.
I'm sorry even to call him the owner, but maybe the person who purchased this land.
She or he, the ghost buyer.
I would call them the pseudo buyer. He has failed still to come out publicly to say that I bought this. But the LOC is saying there is someone who bought and even we presided over that transaction. So is the LOC one so far the LOC one and the relatives who wanted to sell this property and take away the money, use it for everything they wanted, like right? Those are the two parties who know who is the real buyer. Who is that person who was hoodwinked to buy this property?
Piece of land.
But now, even yesterday, the LOC court has put a publicity to see that he can appear. He or she can appear in the meeting.
What happened?
In the meeting, they asked who bought this land, and there was no one to raise up the hand or to say I'm the one. So he was not there. He or she was not there. So right now, the property legally belongs to the rightful owner. The one I would say, or the statement, the property has gone back, has been taken back to the rightful owners who are these orphans. And right now, if there is a buyer, the buyer will go to LOC1 and then the person he gave money, the relatives, and say, I want my money. But we should also look at this legality. Who should now appeal? It is the case. The relatives were invited or were called by the LOC2 court to come and give their side.
Did they turn up also?
They never turned up.
Why did they turn up? Did they give a reason why straight up?
We cannot tell why they refused to turn up.
So I know one thing I know. If the LC invited them to come, they first of all they're supposed to do two things. They are supposed to have a formal communication.
Yeah.
As to why they're not going to turn up, or they have to have a formal communication with if they're not going to also turn up. So did they give at least one of the reasons why they're not going to turn up?
They didn't. I witnessed Mr. Bankari, the relative.
When yesterday?
Not yesterday. The first meeting they had with these orphans at the village.
Yes.
I witnessed him receiving a letter, an invitation letter from the LOC2 court, calling him to appear and give his side, and even acknowledged the letter.
They should take out the letter.
Yeah.
Oh.
And personally, I asked him that this is the court we are attending, and he said, okay, I will see. And the chairperson of the court of LOC2 went further to give a call to Mr. Bankari. And on the call, the chairperson said, Mr. Bankari responded with abuse, indignifying, and also belittling the LC2 court. But the LC2 court, as you know, these are people who are custodian of laws. They said, okay, what you want, just appear in the court and give your side, so that when a ruling is made, you may be the right person.
You meant to be able to compare at the end of the day or make appeals. Yes.
To just appeal, and it did not appear, but threats went on to the chairperson. The chairperson, I know you will go and interview him. He will show you and will tell you how he has been intimidated even to lose life if he dare go further to make a ruling.
Okay, fantastic. Mr. Mugabe, you're doing a very great work in this community. Thank you so much indeed. Keep it up with Aaron. Now, we need to find out. We are going to finalize this small interview with you. We need to find out from you. Have you been able to speak to the family? To the family as per now, that disabled who gained back their properties.
Yeah, Mr. Sam, the host. Yesterday, I was there. I was there because I wanted to see justice. I wanted to see the court giving the facts it has been digging, mining all this time.
I saw their findings.
I saw the neighbors, I saw the friends, I saw the orphan, I saw some of the relatives, and I saw even the councillors, the leaders, concerned citizens. But I also talked to the orphans. I saw that they were no longer feeling like orphans because they felt that in the community there are people who understood that we lost the parents, we lost the grandfather, but who in their work wanted to leave us with something to survive on. But they felt like that we have now the new parents, the community, the allied, who can at least stand for our right to own what was left for us. And they were born again now. Let me use the word born again. I saw the orphans being born again.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mugabe. Here we are at Aldi Center, or the offices, and in front of me, my guest is Mr. Mugabe John, who has taken us through the case I've been following up ever since. It has been a question. How long has it been?
Yeah, it has been 2 thorough months moving here and there.
Yeah, in different angles of the law. Yeah, Mugabe has been able to secure these kids their land, and we are very proud of you. Thank you so much for the good work.
I wouldn't say as an individual, but as an organization, we've done, and we are still doing everything to see that rule of law is promoted, property rights is promoted, and also empowering the community to stand for what is right. And this success is not a success of Aled or me, it's a success of rule of law. It's a victory of rule of law. And also, as a country, we should not lose hope in the rule of law. We should be able to give rule of law our efforts, and also should have faith in the rule of law. But it will only work if people act. Rule of the law, it can be in the constitution, but it is only implemented by people. And these people must express a will to see this law working.
Okay. That's okay, Mr. Mugabe. Viewers at here at Entebbe 1 are trying to watch what Mugabe is doing. And finally, since this is a big success story to you and the community at large, what message do you have for the people out there watching you here at Entebbe 1?
Thank you very much. And this is an opportune moment to, first of all, express and thank God that even in the darkest days, there will still be hope. And it has been manifested, and was manifested yesterday. But I've also learned that wherever people stand together to defend what is right, they become unstoppable. Yesterday, I saw citizens coming together and they were unstoppable in expressing the need to have rule of law. What I would tell the community of Entebbe and the people outside there, that let us all be defenders. You don't need to be a lawyer to defend what is right. Let us all be defenders of rule of law. And then let us also observe property rights. This is what I said. What we are seeing in the communities may not end tomorrow or may not end with this case. There are many people of interest who are going to come and want to take advantage, want to expropriate land, want to grab land, and those people who want to buy land but take advantage and get it at a cheaper price. But what we have to do is, first of all, to continue educating ourselves with the law. There must be, and in every one I request you, continue educating people about these instruments of power, which gives them the local stand to challenge what is not right. Secondly, what we also have to do as a community, we have to be conscious of our leaders, authority. Here in this case, we have seen authority conspiring with people to take away what belongs to others illegally. So the leaders should be cautioned. Let the community be able to check their leaders. Today, if we don't stop the racket of leaders in this village, I would say it has been a price and still a price. These leaders are very powerful, they are connected, they have money, they can do anything. But a price to build a society which is going to be free and which is going to flourish and progress and prosper must have individual with the liberty to defend what is theirs, and then must also have institution. I invite many institutions here, and that's why I thank the rule of law, the Uganda Law Society, to empower and design programs to defend the people and also to check the system which does not stop or whoever wants to grab someone's land. So we shall continue as an organization to promote what makes us exist. Because our mission is to say that we have a free and prosperous society with these aspects of the rule of law. We are going to continue promoting the rule of law in the community, in the society, in the country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mugabe. Dear viewers, thank you so much for viewing us here on TV1. Mr. Mugabe has been with us here, and actually, throughout this case, he's been very, very key. The LC1 connived with the family members to grab away the kids' land. He's been very key at a forefront fight, make sure that the kids get their own land and their own rights, as he has said. Yes, you have heard it him say. Thank you so much for viewing us. Thank you so much for keeping on the TV1. We host him again in case there's anything. But this is a gentleman that fought for the rights of so many people. And out there, if you have people who are like being oppressed and suppressed, please contact him at his office here in Tebe. And then we'll be able to sort you out.
Sorry, I'd forgotten to say this. On 19th, Saturday, we are having a rule of law clinic. It's going to be in Entebbe, and it's going to be the first in the history of this municipality. We are going to have many organizations which are willing to give legal aid coming to Entebbe, and one of the organizations is Redeem International. It's going to be with us, and we are inviting all the people because we are expecting 500 people to be there. We are inviting everyone, those who have problems concerning land, concerning some criminal cases, and whatever, come, because we are going to have the legal service at your disposal, and it is going to be for free at Entebbe Comprehensive Secondary School ground.
What time?
The time is going to be at 2 p.m. We are starting at 2 p.m. up to 5 p.m.
Okay, thank you so much. You've heard it from him. Thank you so much, Mr. Mugabe, for the good work done. May God bless you. Thank you.